Hello. Today we're going to talk about solving using the square root property. So, first thing we do is briefly remind ourselves a couple things. So if you recall, the square root of x squared will always be x. We can use the square root property. To use the square root property, you need a single x squared term and a constant term. Examples would be x squared minus 10 equals 0. We could solve this one using square root property. X squared equals plus 4, x squared x squared equals 5, even x plus 2 squared equals 7. So the key comes back to being right here. The square root of anything squared always is just the anything. So and we move up here a little bit. If we solve x squared equals, I don't know, 9. To get rid of this x squared right here, we do square root of x squared equals square root of 9. And it's almost as simple. There's one thing we keep track of. If you come back way up here, if I square a number and it equals 9, if I square a positive number, it gives me a positive number. If I square a negative number, it also gives me a positive number. So I have to, when I take the square root of both sides, I have to come in here and put in a plus or minus right here, and a plus or minus right there. So my answer is plus or minus 3. And if you check yourself, x equals 3, 3 squared equals 9, 9 equals 9. So it's the positive version. If we check x equals minus 3 squared, does that really equal 9? Yes, 9 equals 9. So every time I take the square root of both sides, I have to say plus or minus. So let's solve another. X squared plus 10 equals 0. First thing I need to do to do the square root property is get the x squared all alone. So minus 10 minus 10. X squared equals minus 10. I want just x squared, so square root of x squared equals square root of minus 10. And again, plus or minus out front. The minus here, right? The minus right here means we have the square root of minus 1, which is I. So it's going to come out front, plus or minus I. And the square root of 10, well, 10 is 2 times 5. And both 2 and 5 are prime numbers, so I can't do anything. So this is my answer. The square root of my answer is x equals plus or minus the square root of, I can't even say it, x equals plus or minus I square root of 10. All right, next we have well, we can get bigger. We do something like 5 equals, or not 5, 5 x squared equals minus 7. In order to do this, I have to square root by itself. So I'm going to divide everything by 5. X squared equals minus 7 over 5. Then I get rid of the x squared, just get x. Square root of x squared equals plus or minus square root of minus 7 over 5. So x equals plus or minus. The minus comes out as an I. Square root 7 on top. Square root 5 on the bottom. And on problems like this, we want to rationalize the denominator because we do not want radicals in the bottom. So in order to get rid of that square root of 5 on the bottom, I have to multiply the top and bottom by something that turns that radical 5 into just a 5, which will just read itself. So square root 5, square root 5. And again, square root 5 times square root 5, or square root 25 is just going to be 5. So 5 on the bottom. And the square root of 7 times the square root of 5 is the square root of 35. It turns out that it doesn't matter really how big a situation you have. So if you have something like x squared equals 4, it doesn't matter. What's right here makes no difference. It's something squared equals a number. If something squared equals a number, then all you need to do, take the square root of one side. So square root x plus 7 squared equals plus or minus the square root of 4. The square root of x plus 7 squared is just x plus 7. The square root of 4 is 2. Getting x by itself, minus 7 minus 7. X equals minus 7 plus or minus 2. Now, some people would argue you can leave your answer in this position, and sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. The biggest thing to keep in mind is 7 and 2 add and subtract together very, very nicely. So if they do, go ahead and do it. So x equals minus 7 plus 2, or x equals minus 7 minus 2. Minus 7 plus 2 is minus 5, or minus 7 minus 2 is minus 9. So our solution set is minus 5 minus 9. So you can write it either way. All right, so that's solving by completing the square. Let me know if there are any questions.